Do you notice that we become a society where we expect of it, we do something and it has to work it out? But then I want you to go and pause for a minute and be realistic, because in Mother Nature, and I'm pointing to my beautiful maple tree and my plants, every time we plant a seed in a soil, does it grow? No, it doesn't always. But we think in love, with work, with everything, it has to grow. We become a society where we think you do 1 + 1 = 2, but in reality, it doesn't. And so having a patience, being able to pause it and don't make a meaning of if something doesn't work it out. Maybe the timing is not right. Maybe the alignment of you and that, clients, person, everything what you're desiring is not the right timing. But we don't lose the path about it. We stay, we believe in ourselves, we're confident, and we plug into the currency of you, and don't lose the meaning of it, because you are constantly looking for it. It has to work it out. It has to work it out. You'll know why something didn't work it out. But not being able to pause and go back into it and go like, okay, in yourself, yeah? Okay, this didn't work it out right now. Doesn't have got a meaning about you. It's just like, okay, I'll plant the seeds again. I will recheck the soil, see what the soil is like. Is it too dry? Is it too moist? Is this, for certain plants, we do plant them at the certain seasons, yeah? And so we sometimes think, oh, I'm gonna plant this so it can flower, but like winter is coming. Okay, Australia is so different. It's never too cold here, but at least in Sydney, where I live, we don't have snow, we don't have minus temperatures, so it's so different. But theoretically, do we ask ourselves that? No, we don't. We just go like, no, it has to work it out. It has to work it out. Sometimes it just doesn't work it out right now. Or, as my favorite thing to say is, not yet, not yet. But you keep continuing and working on yourself, and then it's going to work it out. But we don't lose that we stop planting seeds, that we not look at our garden, that we don't water our garden, which means yourself, your soul. We just want to have everything, press the button, and it has to happen right now. I need you to pause for a minute. I need you to be in the sync with the Mother Nature, that not everything always works it out. When you're in self-doubt, when you're in anger, when you're in rushing and pushing something to go faster, you're in scarcity mindset, yeah? If this doesn't work it out, I'm gonna lose something. It has to work it out. This is my last thing. But what if it's not your last thing? What if it's you're being in a stability and knowing identity, that, okay, if this doesn't work it out, it's something else will be. I will just adjust a few things. But I'm not going to make a meaning of me is like, I am stupid, I didn't do this properly. Well, it's the temperature, it's the weather, it's the humidity in the air, moisture in the soil. Lots of things can play a part in it. And it's the same thing in the things what you are doing right now. So sometimes it's about the timing, alignment, being in peace, and knowing like it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. But you keep going onto the path. You don't just give up and blow the road up because you didn't got it right now. Yeah, you didn't got it right now. I lots of times compare this to cooking a bread. I love making bread, and there's one thing is like, absolutely love making dough, any kind of doughs, but like I love making bread. But if you never cooked a bread, you need to understand is when we are cooking bread, for example, is we have to have a certain humidity in the oven. And if we keep opening up the oven, the temperature drops. Yeah. And if the temperature, if we are in impatient and we just want to keep opening the oven to check it, well, the bread is going to drop. It's not going to rise up and be beautiful like recent bread. and the temperature is going to drop, humidity is going to drop off the oven, you know, because we're going to release it every time we open up the door of the oven. So you need to allow time for cook or bake in oven. And that requires patience. And patience is that you believe in yourself. Patience that you believe in that product. Patience that you believe into it. Not that it has to happen instantly. Press the button, bread is done in 1 second. Well, it doesn't. Especially baking a sourdough bread, like that takes much more patience than usual. So this is why I say to the people, when you're starting to bake the bread, start with the normal bread. So with bread rolls, ciabattas, all of those things, and then start. The most complicated is the sourdough, because that's super required patience of you. Is it possible? Of course it is possible to learn, but it's gonna take some time. And yes, you'll have to learn some knowledge regarding of it, if the house is like this, what to do, everything else. Yeah. So the point, what I want to say to you is patience, and not forget to have got a meaning. It's like people give up on love, for example. It's like especially when they're, like, I would say older, or they went through divorce, and it's like, oh, first relationship, has to work it out after that. Well, does it have to? What is that going to make a meaning? What is that going to make it? And how many people are in relationships and they're so unhappy, or marriages and they're so unhappy, you know, but for the sake of it, that they said that they're in a relationship. Would you rather be in an absolutely soulful and aligned relationship with someone that it feels absolutely in alignment, and everything what you are seeking to have? And if you have to wait for it, or if it's still not there, because alignment, because it's another person that it's incoming. So it's not just you, it's them. Yeah. So if it's, I'm female, so I will say, for the sake of the conversation, it's like, if it's a male that it's incoming, well, he needs to be ready. He needs to be in alignment. And if he's not in alignment, then being impatient about it, what is that going to create? Somebody who's going to come in and it's not going to be a match, just that we can say, I have a relationship. Yeah, so keep working on yourself, and you just never know when it just happens. And then it's just going to happen on a repeat, like even overflow of the money. When we're believing in ourselves, just like my cherry tomatoes are growing, and it's like there is so much tomatoes here, and they're growing, and believing into it, and just watering, look after them, and that's it. And that's what I want to tell you today for today's absolutely message, because it seems to be like a theme of this week for a lot of my clients.